What's up, comic book community? My name is Joe, and this is 360 Comics. I'm wearing my comic book hunting hat, which means I did some hunting this weekend, and I'm going to share it with you today. Despite being sore from King Kon the day before, I got up bright and early on Sunday morning to hit up the flea markets. And I'm glad I did, because I ended up stumbling across a collection that I picked up for a really nice price. Stay tuned to see what I got. Don't forget, we're currently running 2 giveaways, and I'll be picking a winner for both of them this Sunday evening live on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like our videos, and leave comments on them for your chance to win. And speaking of Sunday, I am hosting the first ever Back Deck Comic Fest this Sunday, September 25th at my house. Come hang out with members of the community, grab some comics, play some yard games, eat some food, fun stuff like that. More information on Instagram, go check it out, and we'll see you there. I was a little concerned when I got to my first flea market of the day and realized that the 2 guys that are normally set up there selling comic books were not in attendance. I walked around, but there was not a comic book in sight, but I didn't let that deter me. I just moved on to the next flea market. There, I found a couple things in dollar bins, nothing too special, until I came across a woman who had a small pile of comics and was selling them for $1 a piece. I grabbed a couple things, but more importantly, I asked her if she had any more, which she said she did. Probably about 100 to 200 comics at her house. She was looking to get rid of them. So I asked if we could, have a meetup, and she said, yeah, come over this afternoon. I headed over there. I took a look, and I felt like there was about 35, 40, maybe 45 comics that I wanted at $1 a piece. So I told her, hey, you know what? I would buy those individual books for $1 a piece, but if you're looking to get rid of everything and just move it all, I'll give you $50 for the whole lot. And, pretty quickly she agreed with that. I packed it up and I brought it home, and now I'm going to show you it. First off, we've got this copy of the Uncanny X-Men number 160. Now, this is a magic key. I believe it's the first time she appears as like a teenager. First she appears as a baby, but this is later when she is not known as Magic yet. That does not happen until later on, but this is kind of her reintroduction into the X-Men run. This is a lower grade copy. It's got like chips out of the corner and stuff like that, but certainly worth more than $1. A high grade copy is probably worth about 50 or 60 bucks. Then we've got some more Uncanny X-Men number 283. This is a book I've been picking up. You probably know it if you watch this channel. This is the first full appearance of of Bishop, and he's a character that not only do I really love, but I'm also doing a little bit of speculation on. Then we've got X-Men number 390. This is one of the most overlooked books, in my opinion. This is the death of Colossus. The death of an absolutely major character in the Uncanny X-Men run. It's got a great cover as well. And I think a lot of the books over 300 in the X-Men run are really overlooked. X-23's first in-continuity appearance, this book. So this is definitely something that I pick up whenever I can find it on the low. Then we've got some of the X-Men run, the Jim Lee run from the 90s. Not only were there all 5 of the covers of all 4 of the covers, rather, but there was also the wraparound cover with that green up in the corner, how to easily tell it apart from the others. Nothing super exciting there, but the complete set was pretty nice to have. Then we're going on to issue number 5, and there was not just 1, not just 2, but 3 copies of this one. The first cover appearance of Omega Red, his second appearance as well. Definitely a great book. Then we've got X-Men number 11. Couple issues later. This one right here is one of the most iconic Jim Lee X-Men covers, if not the most iconic of all time. And it's also his last his last cover on the run. Moving up a little bit higher in the run, this is X-Men number 65. This is the first appearance of Cecilia Reyes, and it also is a newsstand. Pretty hard to find newsstands from this like mid to late 90s time period. But coincidentally, I actually got a newsstand copy of this at a flea market just a few weeks ago. So I'm going to see which one is higher grade, keep it for myself, and end up selling the other one. Now, we're going to go rewind back in this run a little bit because this is the best book of the X-Men run. This is number 4, the first appearance of Omega Red. It is a pretty gosh darn sharp copy. This is just a sticker on the bag, so that's not doing any damage or anything like that. But yeah, this is a book that I've been picking up. It has come down considerably from the heights it was when there was a bunch of rumors and speculation. This character is almost certainly going to show up at some point as long as the MCU continues. So I'm going to be just holding on to every copy that I have. Then we've got some X Factor here, number 92. I've talked about this book a bunch. This is the first appearance of Exodus. And, you know, you could still find this book in dollar bins, but really they sell online for more than that. I think it's a really good pickup. Now, something to note about this book, the barcode is on the back. So it's hard to see a newsstand copy without taking it out of the bag and board unless it's not bagged and boarded. But be careful because copies that aren't bagged and boarded, usually the foil, the little hologram thing is all scratched up. So just make sure you look at that before you buy it and check for that newsstand on the back. Then we got X-Force number 2, the second appearance of Deadpool. A pretty undervalued book in my opinion, and one that I'm always picking up if I can get it for $1 or $2. And speaking of Deadpool, X-Force number 15 is next. This is a classic battle between Deadpool and Cable right on the cover. One of the best covers in this run, in my opinion. Actually, probably the best cover. Maybe the Domino book, number 11. That one's pretty good too. Then we've got some new X-Men. This is from the Grant Morrison run. And this is the first book of the run. It's issue number 114, but this is when they changed the name from X-Men to New X-Men. Grant Morrison took over the writing and went on from there. And then I think it turned into X-Men Legacy after that. I forget exactly, but this is a really great run of comics. If you haven't read it, I definitely recommend. Up next, this was an interesting one. This is Kingdom Come number 1, which is a pretty desired book, sells for like between $5 and $10. But this one's a little special because it is signed right on the bottom corner here by Mark Waid, the writer. It's got some amazing Alex Ross art. Definitely a great read. I believe it's part of Elseworld. Yeah, it's got the little Elseworld symbol up there, so it's not in continuity, but definitely some good stuff. Speaking of signed books, this next one, I have no idea what this is. Never heard of this book or this character. Sugar Ray Finhead? I don't know. Some kind of like weird humanoid fish that's also a boxer. But it is signed by, I believe, the creator. Where's the name? Doug Barron. Yeah, Doug Barron is the creator. He's at least the cover artist because his name is on the cover down here. But it might be kind of hard to see. It's in gold ink right there. Signed by him. That was a pretty cool find. You know, nothing super special, but, you know, it's a signed book. That's not bad. These next two, was very happy to find them. Always happy to find this stuff in 90s collection. Batman number 436, the first appearance of Tim Drake, the third Robin. And not only was there a direct edition, but a newsstand as well. 90s newsstands, a little bit more desired, all that stuff. And another Batman book for you as well, number 489, the second appearance of Bane. In my opinion, this is a pretty underrated book. You know, Bane is definitely a major character. His first appearance is huge. I understand there was 90s and print runs were pretty high, but, you know, it's got Bane on the cover. Second appearance, pretty solid book. Then we've got Action Comics number 1, the 50th anniversary reprint. Not the real deal, but still a great book. People like to pick this one up because it is a little bit older than, you know, a more recent facsimile. You know, same cover and everything. And, you know, if someone wants to read the original Superman story, this is a great way to do so. Then we got some cartoon stuff. If you're into that, we got Looney Tunes number 1 from DC Comics. I believe this was 1994, I want to say. You know, it's just some standard stuff. People do collect this, though. You know, not a key issue per se, not a first appearance of any of these characters, but, you know, just DC's version of Looney Tunes in the first book of the run. Same thing with the Scooby-Doo. Nothing like crazy super special about it, but it is a number 1 of you know, DC's version of Scooby-Doo. Then this was a weird one. This one threw me for a loop for a second. This is The Swarm, which apparently was a promotional comic book made by Marvel for M&M's. And it was probably like a giveaway item or something. I couldn't find too much information about it, but it does say not for resale on the bottom right there. Or not what does it say? Not for sale, not for resale, not for resale. So it probably was some sort of a promotional giveaway. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit more rare. A lot of things that were given away were kind of trashed and junked, and but this is pretty high grade. So I'm gonna do a little bit more research on it and kind of find out what the value is. Now, I need a little bit of information on this book because I think there are multiple printings of this. This is Walt Disney Presents Peter Pan by Gold Key. Inside the cover of this, it says 1952, but I don't think this book is from 1952, mainly because it has a 15-cent price tag. In the 1950s, pretty much everything was 10 cents. This isn't like an exceptionally thick book or anything like that. So if someone could give me some information, maybe, I saw there were some online with like a blue banner up top instead of red. And I think there was even a third color that I saw. So if someone wants to give me information about this red one, was this a reprinting that just used the same indicia date on it of 1952? Either way, pretty cool book to have, and I'm sure worth more than $1 because Peter Pan, such a classic Disney story. This next one kind of threw me for a loop, kind of a weird one. This is Howard Cruz's Barefoot Funnies. I really know nothing about this, but this is number 1 and number 2. They were in the same bag, and it just says, for adults only. So this might be a more adult, mature themed comic book, probably, more comedy oriented. I'm not sure. I know really nothing about it, but pretty cool. Number 1 and number 2. And I believe these were from the 1970s. Speaking of older books, we got some Golden Age here, some real deal Golden Age. This one, nothing super special about it, but it is from 1955. This is Little Iodine. Believe it's number 28. I forget. And then also Tom and Jerry. This is, I believe, number 128 or something like that. Also from 1955. Both of those books were in pretty sharp shape considering, how old they were. And this last one, though, really threw me for a loop. This is from 1945. This really did not fit in with the rest of the collection. We got Tilly the Toiler. I don't really know anything about this character, this book. If you do, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear a little bit about her or about this run. And this was a Dell comic? Yeah, this is Dell Comics. Believe this might be 4-color because it's number 132. So unless Tilly the Toiler went up to 132, it's probably an earlier 4-color book. But I haven't done any research, so let me know in the comments if you know. Either way, there's only 2 copies up on eBay right now, one listed at $40 and one listed at $80, that are both in worse condition than this one. So I have to assume this book has some sort of value, being from the 1940s and being a pretty solid mid-grade book. And very much so intact and complete and everything. Then we've got Wonder Man number 1. This is from the 1980s. This was just a Wonder Man one-shot. Look how much thicker this Golden Age book is than than the modern stuff. We know Wonder Man is coming to the MCU. He's getting his own comedic show. A lot of people specking on this character, so definitely an easy pickup. And then we've got Wonder Man number 1 from the 90s ongoing run. Make sure with this book, when you get it, it has the poster in the middle because it is incomplete if it does not have that. You want to make sure you get a complete copy. You can even see it just looking in the top. You can see that there's a poster in there. Then we've got first issue special number 1. I think this is number 1. Yep, number 1. The first appearance of Atlas. A minor DC character, but you never know what's going to happen. If this character is going to be utilized again in comics, if they're going to be utilized again on the screen, whatever it may be. Then we got Grimm Fairy Tales number 0. This is a special, I think it was a giveaway edition or something like that. Yeah, free special edition. I'm not super into the Grimm Fairy Tales stuff, but there definitely are collectors out there. So this one, apparently the last one sold on eBay, sold for $15. So not upset about that. And then we got Justice League number 1 from the New 52 run. Despite not having any real significant key importance, this book still sells pretty well. I guess people really like the New 52 Justice League run. It's definitely got a really fantastic cover. Then we got Young Avengers, #1. This is from volume 2. What makes this special, it is the second printing of the book, indicated by that blue bar down there. From this time period, second printings were much lower print runs for the most part, so a lot of those second printings are worth considerably more than the first printings. Think about, Miss Marvel #1. I believe the second printing is worth more than that first printing. Same deal with this one. The second printing is probably worth about $10 to $15, where the first printing is only like a $5 book. Then we got Superman in Action Comics. This is number 684. Action Comics. This is where Doomsday reaches Metropolis city limits, and there's a great fight on the cover between Doomsday and Superman, and it's a newsstand. Not a super special book, but a rare 90s newsstand, so that is a pretty cool one. Then we've got this book right here. This was in dollar bins a few months ago, but they've kind of all been bought up, unless you can find them like I did this time. This is Spectacular Spider-Man number 178. This is the first appearance of Ashley Kafka, who, if you remember recently, if you're reading, Amazing Spider-Man a couple months ago, she is a clone of her is the character, the Queen Goblin. So this book kind of spiked up in price. It's still holding it a little bit. It's not a dollar bin book, but it's not selling for like the $15 that it was. Last but certainly not least, we got What If number 104. Man, I wish this was number 105, which is that first Spider-Girl appearance. But this is a pretty good one too. This is What If Impossible Man had the Infinity Gauntlet. So I think it's probably more comedic given the character of Impossible Man. And if you look down at the bottom, look at that. It's a newsstand, and this was like later 90s. This might have been like 97 or something like that, 98. I don't know. It doesn't have a date on the cover, and I dropped it. But fortunately, it fell right on a pile of other comics. So it is A-okay. This book probably sells for $5 normally, so maybe a little bit more than that in a newsstand. Definitely happy to pick all this up. Like I said, I offered $50 for everything, or I would take them for $1 a piece, like she was selling them. And she opted for, hey, take everything. I want this out of my house, $50. I definitely multiplied my money a little bit here. Some things a little bit more obscure. They're probably going to sit around for a little bit. But depending on what that Tilly the Toiler book gets, I could have a really nice score on my hand for a $50 investment. Please give this video a thumbs up for a like. Leave a comment down below. Let me know something that I didn't know about these books, or of course, just give me your opinion on the whole thing. And of course, that enters you to win. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and turn the bell on for notifications. Don't forget about Back Deck Comic Fest this weekend if you're in the Philadelphia area, New Jersey, Delaware. If you want to take a drive from somewhere else, you are certainly allowed to come hang out. But yeah, that's about it for this video. So until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.